Putting the blame on others, passing the blame, not wanting to take responsibility. 50 years old, about to be 50 years old, and refusing to step into the role of being self-sufficient. Still wanting to put the blame on mom. Still wanting to put the blame on dad, siblings. Even going so far as putting the blame on children. Your own children. Not wanting to be held accountable to take the responsibility to say, okay, it's time that I activate what I've heard. But sometimes in life, people seem to think they had it figured out then. You hear of young people at young ages wanting to be a grown child. A grown child, male or female I'm talking about, wanting to be emancipated, wanting to think they have life all figured out, that they no longer need that covering and that they're ready to go on out there. Going out there at 10, 11, 12, no job in mind. The world is nothing nice out here. People will not care for you. You think someone is going to care for you, but then you find out you might be in a better position to where you was already at than out here trying to scuffle. Because some same problems, chances are that you had in your household, you may take those same problems over to somebody else's household. Because who's hiring you at 10 years old? Who's hiring you at 12 years old, 13 years old, 14 years old? You're doing good to get a job at 16. And sometimes that job is based off of who somebody knows that's willing to take a chance on a young person, to know that they can be responsible and accountable for what they can do at the age of 16. But when the blame is steady speeding up, let me tell you, as the blame speeds up, life is steady speeding up. Now, it's not to say where a person should be by the time they're in their 40s, 50s, 60s, but to have shelter over your head, to have shelter in place. If you have a car, some people get around with public transportation. Or did things become so clouded that habits were picked up along the way, and maybe, just maybe, you no longer had access to drive a car. And when you did have a car, you do have a car, you didn't want to take the time out sometimes to just man up or woman up to check on the oil. Now the car needs a transmission. But there again, that's a person that knows too much. If somebody's trying to give a helping hand to say, hey, have you looked into this? The conversation is willing to be flipped. Did you look into it? What happened to the humble side of just having a listening ear, being observant, being respectful, saying thank you? If you short a couple dollars, let's say $50, $100, $200, you have no problem making that call to that person that you know has always had your back, and chances are that may be the grandmother. But is the grandmother still here? It may be the parents, or are the parents veering off into another age, to the age point where it's like, okay, well, what about them having a retirement? See, that's being now a very, very selfish man-child. What does it mean to grind, to be a helping hand to yourself? If you cannot handle your Social Security check, your disability check is not enough, can you add on to that with another check? You have your own children calling you, saying, hey, I'm in the midst about to graduate. My parent needs help with senior dues, or is there anything that you can do to help me just with a little bit financially? Because that's the child right there that was needing to be raised. That's the child right there that needed the life conversations, that needed to be shared, and maybe things that didn't quite work out for you in your eyes that you maybe needed to pass down. But there comes a time, I'm telling y'all, when that humbling spirit will take effect and you feel like, what happened? Where did I mess up? What could I have done differently? Well, it's not too late, but you have to humble yourself because you've been broken down. God has a way of breaking you down to realize whoever you done talked to rudely, whoever you done went against, whoever you done said unnecessary things to, they've been there for you, but you just felt like, okay, I'm going to get a pass for this one today. I'm going to say what I wanted to say. I don't care how it affects this person. It's not right. There is no way you can escape through life. And the Bible tells us we are to honor. Well, you know what? Honoring is also honoring yourself. If you're saying disobedient things, if you're being disagreeable, if you're always having a backlash of some sort, if you're always in the negative realm where you don't believe even things can get better, well, I'm here to tell you, trouble, heartache, down times don't always have to last for long. There is such a thing as being disciplined. Being disciplined, having a plan in mind. If I'm still in good health at this age, if I'm still in my right mind, if I know what it is that I can contribute to turn things around, because this is something that I don't want to leave for my legacy. If there are children involved or just you yourself, how do you want to be remembered? The person that was always this man-child causing problems within the family for no apparent reason, and there was help, there was support. See, not everybody was even given a fair hand, a first shot. Some people want to remain on the nip. Some people want to be overly catered to, overly coddled. You have to watch out for those signs, because if that's something that you still want and you still want to continue with, it's going to be really hard to make a transition. But again, you still have an opportunity. You will get in a relationship. It will be hard to grow. It will be hard to pass down. It will be hard for you to encourage that individual by example, to lead by example. But some children, I've seen it, they come out with their own strict minds, rules, regulations, even though they've had an example of not only just being in a single parent home. They've seen the example of what type of father they had in the household and what the father was like when it came to being the head of the home, what the father was instilling. But some kind of way, people's minds just get off track. And once you get off track and you still caught up in wanting to implement such childish things, it's not always easy to put away childish things. Some people have a love to want to watch basketball 24/7. Some people have a love to want to play the PS5 all day. People will refer to people like that sometimes as a man-child. Some women want to stay on the phone, want to be on social media all day, want to watch all of these toxic shows, and then want to take that same unpleasing attitude of what they're picking up and then talk to their kids sideways, talk to their parents like they ain't got it all, ain't thinking about no dreams or aspiration, just thinking about when is the next toxic show for me to wild out. If they are working, when can I get my next check? To have unnecessary nails out to here, way long, eyelashes out to here, way long, bright colored makeup, little skimpy clothes on, trying to be stuck like when they well into their 40s or 50s, thinking they still can do what they can do, like when they was doing in their 20s, and out here want to pick fights with people, don't want to listen, don't want to be responsible, don't possibly want to help with the care of their own children, possibly don't want to help with the care of their own parents. I ain't saying to take the burden and put it on them, but I'm just saying it's a all about me type of syndrome. When a person is a man-child, they tend to have an all about me, point the finger at the outsider, thinking, I don't have to help. Knowing you done had all this help, I don't have to open my door. Oh, you need somewhere to stay this time? Can't do it. I'm not opening my door. I have seen some men, child, let's say they got 2 baby mamas, okay? Might have 4 or 5, but at that time, it was 2 that chose to get into it. The man child looked out the window, peeked out, the 2 girls was into it. Now this is after he done poured syrup, ketchup, smeared mayonnaise, mustard, all on the floor, in the drawers. Then some type of disagreement came about concerning the children. The girl goes to the house. The 2 baby mamas wound up getting into it, while the man child is just looking out the window observing and said, y'all can work it out. They out there duking it out all right, and he inside. Could some of this have been prevented? Could the time have been rationalized when this child was supposed to I don't know exactly what brought this on, but it's always been like you figure it out because I don't want to take responsibility. I don't even want to see my kids, but because the type of woman that I'm with, she's encouraging it, I'm gonna let you take up that responsibility. I'm not going to get no gas in the car. I'm not going to make sure I rent our mortgage because the money that I have, I'm doing other things with my money. I am not contributing. But what are you contributing? Oh, your seed, your legacy, for your name to go on. What are you contributing, but you're not in contact with your kids? What are you contributing? More heartache? More of a burden? I have seen some men, child, talk to their parents in unimaginable ways, and then they wonder why their lives are not working out. They wonder why they cannot seem to get forward in life. They wonder why they seem to have a stronghold. Forgiveness, what does that mean? Oh no, because there's a blame again. You owe me. And sometimes it's going to take a rude awakening for people to finally get it. Sometimes people have to really experience something and have a come to Jesus meaning that a sudden light just goes off like, wait a minute, that's been me all this time. Some men, child, some women, child, are just straight up like sleeping giants and letting life pass them by from day to day. It's like a list. It's like in life you have a checkoff list, but not everybody is going to be on the same checkout list. Not everybody's going to have the same adrenaline. Not everybody's going to have the same know-how. Not everybody wants to put God to be involved in what it is that they have going on. And some people just done gave up because they're just too embarrassed and think they cannot take care of themselves to get ahead. Some people's back really has to be put up against the wall. And then as you grow and you become older, as older woman, older man, by that time, it might be too late to take care of yourself because you done convince yourself so tough. I'm not able to do it. I can't do it. That the mind just done absorbed that, soaked it up. And you may wind up somewhere that you never imagined. And the question is, who's going to come for you? Try to be there for yourself. If you can turn things around, relationships that may need to be reconciled, reconciliated, rejuvenated, just awaken. But first and foremost, you got to awake yourself. You got to care for yourself first and foremost, because how in the world is you going to help somebody else?